land that, made things very difficult with me and my girlfriend. But I said yes to it. And now we don't even react anymore. Yeah, but does anybody have any, and what's cool is, like I said, I don't know anything. You guys I could ask you a question. Yeah?
Yeah, I was told that future employers are searching information on Facebook to know what kind of employee they will get. And if they don't like it, they just don't invite you. Because you're there with your tongue piercing, tattoos on your belly.
Or a timeline that says that 6 years ago you did something that you actually regret, but the timeline had retrieved back information that actually you could never find in an older post, but now Facebook opened up all that information that you signed the dotted line with. They own your pictures. You don't own them. You don't own yourself anymore when it comes to that sort of thing. But I agree with you. That's a crazy issue. And I think with all the programs in Norway that have to do with mobbing, to mob people, I think a lot of discussions in and around the use and the mentioning of Facebook. I think the quicker you can say in a child's world, look, I know that you guys mob each other. I know you do it. I used to do it. Then you've just taken away all the things that everyone doesn't, considers dangerous, so that you, in a pedagogic way, have, like I said, you humiliated yourself in a constructive way. Why? Because you then now, anything you're doing that you call substantially valuable, after all, you are the provider. You are the educator. If you're not getting the message across, then you need to rethink your tactics. And if your tactics are taking your skin off and being a part of them and saying, look, because it'll happen in the school, you guys will get together, we've got a big problem. There seems to be a certain gang atmosphere going on because someone said something, obviously in the social medias, about that. But here we're talking about so-called drastic, critical, dramatic situations. If you guys can shift the focus to always fire extinguishing and think more, how do we not just prevent situations, because there's a tool that I pay $25,000 a month for. And when the tsunami hit Norway, or if kids hit your Facebook pages that you create, perhaps with me in the future, that you all use as a tool together, independent of language, then what you can do, like we did for the tsunami, because people were afraid in Norway, not that so many people in Japan lost their lives, they were afraid that they wouldn't get their Prius on time. And then all of Norway started talking about that at the different Toyota dealerships, all the Facebook pages. Ugh. The whole image of Toyota in Norway. Ugh. And it was the same year they called back all the cars. They had a problem. And all of this free-for-all on the wall was killing them. So when we log into Facebook, we log into our publisher, and we can define keywords. We can do one of two things. We can either remove contents containing these matches, or even better, we can check off the box, send me an email notification when someone says the word red stockings. Because that girl got mobbed with her red stockings. So I can put in the word red. I may have to put stockings. But if someone mentions in a big, huge paragraph, and the word red comes in, on my smartphone immediately, I get that came on the wall. Why? Because we got 6,000 students. I can't follow my wall constantly. But I can determine things that are being said, and I can take care of it immediately. Because you don't want to remove people's freedom to say things. But you need to address it immediately. And then when you did, even if it's a bad answer for that child that said, hey, her red stockings is not the problem, but that can be discussed in another forum. If you show them that you're on it, they won't get the comment again, and you actually just built a relationship with that little evil kid who stayed home and was sick and went to the shopping mall that day. Started mobbing that person. So I think you need to have tools in place that you don't even know exist, because no one knows these tools exist. That's why all these companies say yes to me, because I show them that there are a set of tools that no one ever talks about. Because we're all so busy telling everyone how Facebook savvy we are. Yeah. Any other questions? Because I'd like to end soon for your sake. You've got a lot to do. Yes?
It's not so much a question, but I think also as... I agree with you. I think it's fascinating, the things you say. But also as an educator, I think you have to dare to be unpopular. In the way that when I hear you, I say, oh, let it go, slip. How would you say that in
You would say just
let everything go and let's all be washed away with this Facebook and all this. But as an educator, I dare to be unpopular and say, listen, there is a time where we will use these things, and I try to follow that wave, but we try to make them strong individuals, and in the way that they are not all the time following just the wave. And so there is a time in the school where we do use these, and they are wonderful to, get to know how people or pupils are in Kenya. It's wonderful. Because we don't have the means to travel anymore, so we can do that on Skype. But there is also a time where you switch all these devices and you have a true communication. Because I think all these electronic media can be a filter also to daring say face-to-face, what exactly do you mean?
Yeah.
If you love a person, say it with your words. Don't SMS it, for Christ's sake.
No.
It's you have this directness, which I still love, and I'm a little bit concerned where we are moving with the teenagers. I mean, this messages from the father to his daughter is horrible for me. There is no true communication whatsoever.
Do you feel it? Because it's actually happening in 9 out of 10.
I know, but that worries me.
Yeah, but then again, if we're not going to call an apple an orange, or an orange an apple, or a cloud a cloud, and you think, what is a person? We're all people. Okay, you're educators today. But Jesus Christ, you're people.
Yeah.
And if you're people, then how are you going to address anything at school when on the way to school everything's already gone wrong because the kid couldn't get to sleep last night because the parents didn't have either the control or they fell asleep early because they couldn't master all of these extra this, that, and the others. So I think part of how to deal with Facebook and social media and education is also educating and giving kids. I mean, my girlfriend said something interesting yesterday. She said, you know what, no one ever told me how to fill out an application. All of those things in life that you actually have to learn to get into the real life are never being taught in schools. The actual things. I went to university for 11 years, but my first 5 years, for the first year, do you know what happened to me? And I had a 3.8 grade point average in high school. I was one of the better ones. But there was one sentence no one ever told me, and my parents didn't tell me either, and that is that you have to choose a major. And at college, when I went there, no one even told me on my first day of college, you have to choose a major. I just chose some classes. I chose ballet, because that sounded fun. Be a nice way to meet some girls. I chose communication, and I chose Spanish, and I chose some other things. And I thought, I'm at college. I'll be here for 4 years. After the first year, I was just like, someone said, well, what's your major? Because even friends didn't ask me. And I'm like, what's a major? Houston, we've got a major problem. So, but I love your comments about bringing it back to the real thing. But
the essence of educators is often, as you say, will never be up the beat with the social medias because they're much too strong. But the most important messages, they are not with those medias.
They're not. But where do you guys do your research nowadays? When you guys research anything, when you're sitting in your bed, how many of you sit in your bed right before you go to bed with some sort of device in your hand? Even if... Isn't it cozy? Damn it.
But I think people think that they can control everything. And that's really misunderstanding about the situation. Even parents think that we can control what kids write on Facebook, what they do on Twitter, what they post for pictures and stuff like that. And that is not working. You can't control the lives of people. I don't want you to control my life or anyone else here in the room. So why do I want to control other people?
You're saying something very interesting because I think I'm the greatest dad ever. I'm very attentive. I'm really there. I'm like, hey. But you know what? I don't have control. But I've actually, once again, my little strategy of putting myself down. And it's not that I'm not being a father because traditionally one would say, you idiot, you've got to be the patriarch. You have to be the tough guy. You have to be direct. I'm just telling my kids, look, you know what? I don't have control of what you're doing. And I really don't. But let me just remind you of the following. And one of them is that this could be the consequence if you take it to that level. But you know what? Ultimately, I said you can be there now. And you know what? Sometimes I get bills from Apple. I don't even go back to them and tell them, did you download that game? Yeah, because actually, you know what? I'm letting my kids make some financial choices. You know, there's always something good about, you know, this is the way it is, you know. But one thing I would suggest in education that would be really cool, instead of saying, let's do a social media product, or let's talk about social media in terms of control, I would say, as a teacher, and that's why I asked you this, or I would take this to other teachers, hey kids, you know what? Last night, I was on YouTube. You just said YouTube. You got them. There. And I was looking at an old documentary about the public broadcasting service in the United States and how Sesame Street came about. Because if you just say, hello, welcome to class today, let's talk about Sesame Street, everyone's going to go, Sesame Street, that's a child. But if you're going to talk about Big Bird and the Muppet and everything else, and you're going to put it into educational terms, just say the word YouTube. I was on YouTube last night. And you don't have to refer to the source, but if you refer to the channel, then you've just grabbed the source and let them then decipher it on their terms. So I would even make a conscious check off your list effort to make mention of not the source, but the channel. Because you just turned cool all of a sudden. And don't be afraid of saying it once every lesson, in one way, shape, or form. Any other comments? Because this is fun. I like standing here. I gotta go though. She's doing that little body language, like stop.
Yeah, it's like I'd like to get back to Rob when he said that it might be a danger if you're on Facebook for future employers. I think it's also the other way around. When I have a job appointment, the first thing I do, I Googled my headmaster to find out as much as I can about him. I checked if he had a Facebook profile, had a look through his pictures, checked what I could do, and also when I was looking for a new flatmate, I made sure that she was on Facebook, because there were a couple of people who were my age and were not on Facebook, and I was like, okay, something is wrong here. She must be wrong. There's one of them I met, and yeah, I was confirmed. There's a reason why she wasn't on Facebook. So I use Facebook for myself, and if somebody's not on Facebook, something's on.
Good is bad. We have a politician in Norway that just took a lot of drugs, and he's one of the conservative parties, and now he's had so much fun the last few days telling everyone, and I even did some more drugs, and I did more, and oh, I'm such a good person. Everyone's just like, wow, he's a great guy for saying all these things. So it's just like, good is not bad anymore, and bad is not good. And I wish and hope that you all truly have a good day. And thank you for letting me come in and just blabber on, because I don't think we got in the